As President Trump continues to respond to the FBI's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election, we're learning more about other opportunities Russians are seizing on to stir up controversy in this country. For example, after last week's school shooting in Parkland, Florida, where 17 people were killed, Twitter was flooded with messages tagged with words like Parkland and gun control and the name of the suspect. And much of this Twitter activity was directly tied to Russian accounts. With more on how Russia-linked bots and trolls are using a tragedy to create confusion, we're joined by Erin Griffith. She's a senior writer at Wired Magazine. Now, we can understand when it comes to political conversations, especially as rolled out in this indictment this last week, the Russian interest and influence. But why after a school shooting?
A big goal of a lot of these influence campaigns are just to attract attention. And when a national tragedy like this happens, that is where a lot of people's eyeballs are going. And so it's an opportunity to not only grab attention, but to sow a little bit of discord, because obviously school shootings can become highly politicized very quickly. And so to latch onto a hot button issue like that and kind of use it as a way to not just grow an audience, but also spread some discord is an ideal opportunity. And in fact, we saw this. This was a high-profile example of it, but we actually did see this after the Texas shooting last year and after the Las Vegas shooting as well.
So this is an opportunity for them to heat up the rhetoric on both sides of, for example, the gun debate, or just create or exploit existing divisions?
Yeah, in this situation, it was kind of interesting because some of the sites that tracked this stuff saw that the hashtags gun control now, which would argue, you would think would be in favor of gun control arguments, were trending. But in fact, it looks like these were being used almost sarcastically because they were being shared with links that were anti-gun control. And so this is clear that they're trying to appeal to a very certain audience in this situation. And that's an audience that's also maybe receptive to some of the messages that are more directly related to the Kremlin's agenda. An example of that would be trying to discredit Mueller, which has been a big message that's been happening basically since December.
Just for a little bit of background, trolls versus bots, or give us an example of how these things work.
A lot of times what happens is when a hashtag begins trending, a human will sort of create a message and jump on that and then use a bot to amplify the message and to spread it around. And it almost creates this feedback loop where eventually real humans that are not in any way affiliated with Russian influence campaigns start interacting and spreading the message themselves. That actually makes it a lot harder for a platform like Twitter to police this stuff, because it's hard to tell what's coming from a human, what's coming from a bot, what's coming from a quote-unquote troll.
So what does a platform like Twitter or Facebook, where a lot of this is happening, what do they do?
They have been struggling with this a lot. I think they know now that they definitely have to do something about it, and they have gone from dismissing the problem as a very small part of the overall volume of messages being sent on their platforms to talking about, okay, we have to do something about this. But it is very tricky. I mean, on Facebook, at least they have real names, but as we've seen with the indictments, these are sophisticated influence campaigns, and these are people who are creating, accounts. They're stealing identities in some cases as a way to buy ads using American dollars. It's really complicated, but I think this is a moment that these platforms are starting to realize we need to work directly with the government. We maybe need to be a little bit less scared of some of the regulation than we have been in the past. And so they're starting to try to police it, but it is difficult.
All right, Erin Griffith, Wired. Thanks so much.
Thank you.